Everybody. This is Randy Baxter. I'm the president of Asset Positioning Services, and those of you who are joining us on the entry level, where you are not a licensee yet, but you're deciding how you might want to grow in this business and have a side income or an extra income. And then we also have some new licensees that are here just to learn what's going on. So we're working on what I call advanced training spoon fed. Lessons 11 through 20 today. We're not going to be watching too many videos today. Last week we did watch a lot of videos, and I'm just going to be talking to you about a couple of issues. So, and then next week we'll be doing lessons 21 through 30, which is the actual sales presentation and all the real ways you need to make money or can make money. But today we're still building vocabulary and process and things like that. So let's get started. So anyway, like I said, I'm Randall Baxter. I'm the author of a book called Approach, Plan, Succeed. Everyone here should have a copy of that book. If you don't, well, you do. It's in chapter 1 of the lessons that you've been receiving, the 30 lessons. But if you've lost it or need it, just be sure and try and let me know. But anyway, I also wrote a little sales presentation called Family Tree Asset Positioning, which people like to sit through, and it's entertaining, and it leads them through a decision process that I'm trying to show you how to do. And then we have a marketing program that we call the Cycle of Success. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today. All right. So anyway, as you know, I always try to tell you what the mission is of the class today. The overall mission of this training is to make you aware of issues you may face in the sales process. And those issues, if you know how to handle them, they'll always be easy, and they'll always lead you to a good decision if you handle them correctly. So those are the things that we want to talk about this morning or this afternoon, wherever you are. So the overall mission of this training is to make you aware of issues you may face in the sales process. The vision that I have is to create a nationwide network of trained presenters, and we're building it. I'd say we have right now about 149 licensees, and not counting the entry level people, or counting the entry level people, we're approaching 160 maybe. But we want to lead everybody to our class to the establishment of the proper estate planning concepts that fit their true purpose for money. And I really want you to drill that home when you talk about anybody's assets or their estates or anything like that. As long as you can make it fit their true purpose for money, you're going to be doing pretty well. So I'm going to show you today how to select the proper people in their lives to apply their wishes when they cannot speak for themselves. And I will tell you right now, folks, that is an art. It is a skill, and it can be learned. So you don't, if you look at it and say, well, I don't have that skill, don't worry about that, because I'm going to teach you how to do what we do. Oops. Let me go back one here. Okay, so as far as the values of what we're going to learn today, I'm going to talk to you about compliance. Compliance is I run into this all the time. People say, am I practicing law and stuff like that? We're going to talk about that because you are not. We're going to talk to you about what the probate court's all about. We're going to talk about one of the topics is what if something goes wrong? How to make wishes known. We're going to talk a little bit about those special people in your life or in their lives, of the people that you're talking to. We're going to talk about how to find solutions or come up with solutions, how to leave a legacy, how to cater to needs, how to be of value to your client. And once again, I'm just going to say, let me teach you to hunt. And if I can teach you to be a hunter, you're going to be glad because your income is going to go up. So anyway, and remember now, what we're talking about in this meeting is the front end sale. Our mission is to make it to the back end sale, but we can't get to that back end sale very easily unless we make the front end sale. Now, there's two versions of the front end sale. The first version of it is, can you sell yourself to people as someone who can be trusted and depended on? And the next one is, can you lead them to a decision that starts this ongoing process that could last for a lifetime? So the family tree asset positioning sales presentation, I call it the go-to first interview. It's a conversation that opens the door to all financial services and products. And this is where you come in. We are willing to pay you to help us open the conversation that opens the door to all financial products, and we'll include you in the deal. If you want to get licensed properly, the commissions are just sometimes amazing. So the first thing I want to talk to you then is about compliance. Okay. And I also call that the elephant in the room. Have you ever been in a room with the elephant? I have. They take up a lot of space, and we can eliminate that if you understand that you will be representing attorney written software. Now, if you worked for an attorney and you were in their office and they said, I need you to help me with an estate plan, they would give you the same type of software that we're offering to let you use. And they would have somebody there who would be their assistant who would fill it out and answer get the questions answered, just like exactly what we're doing. So you're using what I call decision tree programming. It's attorney written software. And what you're actually going to be doing is coaching people on who would be in their estate plan, not what. The what is already going to be answered for you. So the questions are pre-outlined. You are not practicing law. You're guiding your prospect through a decision process. And then you, on top of that, will be coached by a licensed mentor. So I just want you to be aware that you don't have to have any fear of this. Our software is going to guide you through a process that helps you coach your clients and your prospects into a decision to do a proper estate plan. And again, you can make anywhere from $500 to $1,200 depending on the route you want to take, and we'll teach you how to get to the $1,200 route real easy if you want to. So, but the next thing is, let's talk about probate court for a minute. And a lot of you may be aware of probate court, but at the same time, a lot of you might not be. So probate court is a specialized type of court that deals with the property and debts of a person who has died. And the court oversees the execution of wills, the handling of estates, conservatorships, and guardianships. The basic role of the probate court judge is to assure that the deceased person's creditors are paid and that any remaining assets are distributed to the proper beneficiaries. Well, that's a big, long description, but basically what happened a long time ago in probate court in England, poor people were passing away owing rich people money, and the rich people set it up so that they could go in and collect the debts they were owed from the poor people. But that's kind of grown from there. Okay, but probate court is avoidable, and the expenses that are incurred in probate court are avoidable, and that's what we're trying to teach you how to do here. So the next question is, how long can probate court take? Well, in general, a straightforward probate process may take 6 months to a year. But back in the pandemic that we had a couple of years ago, they canceled all probate court. You couldn't even go in for probate court, and probate courts were shut down for 6 or 8 months. So those people who had to go in and have their wills processed didn't get it done for a year or a year and a half or 2 years. And if they had what we're trying to teach you to go out and help us sell, they could have solved. I've solved some revocable trusts in 90 minutes, 2 hours. It didn't take 2 years. Okay. So anyway, so more complex cases can extend beyond that. So you have to keep in mind that individual circumstances can lead to variations. I was in probate court one time and watched a family argue over a frying pan. Now, it was cast iron. It was probably worth a couple $100, but they were arguing over it. So seeking legal advice from an attorney experienced in probate matters is advisable to navigate the process efficiently if you have to go into probate court. But if you do what we teach you to do, you don't need that attorney to do that. You need a trustee who understands what to do. That lowers the cost a lot. So anyway, if you want to go over to what I call day 12 in your lessons, because we've just been talking about day 11 or lesson 11. How do you avoid probate court? Well, there's lots of ways to do it. Your mentor will know and understand those ways. But for this class, establishing a revocable living trust allows you to transfer assets into the trust during your lifetime. And when you pass away, the assets are distributed according to the trust terms. And that's what bypasses the probate court. The trust will own those assets and not the individual who's passed away. So the trust can distribute them according to whatever needs to be done. You or your client remain in control of the assets while alive, and then you are in control of the assets when they're distributed. So that's something you want to be aware of. And people want to talk about that. And the end result is you'll be able to show them a document that you can sell them and make between $500 and $1,200. So then the next day comes. What if something goes wrong? Okay, and things do go wrong. Establishing the proper mindset, leading your prospect to the point where sometime in life they may be in a coma or a vegetative state. Now is the time to document their wishes for future care if that situation arises. In my sales presentation, I focus on that because if you can get someone to really zoom in on what if that occurs to me, I call it being on a table in a hospital in a coma and the doctor not thinking you're going to live. And if you can take your suspect or your prospect to that point and show them on their family tree who would they want to represent them, then you've done a really good job because they'll start thinking, those wheels will start turning and they'll start making decisions. And you want to be there when they start making those decisions because you're going to have the ability to make it happen. Then the next day in your lesson, day 14, I don't know how long you've been in your lessons here, but making sure the client's wishes are followed. And we do that with an advanced care directive, a power of attorney for healthcare, a power of attorney for finances, a pour over will, and a revocable living trust. And I put revocable there in capital letters on purpose because a revocable living trust means you can change it. Change it anytime you want to. And most of the time, people change it when they have an asset change or a relationship change or a health change. And what's going to happen is they're going to come to you and ask. That's why if you want to be an entry level representative, you probably want to think about getting your insurance license because when those decisions are made, there's usually money starts moving around, and a lot of times it winds up in the insurance companies, preferably through you. So anyway, and then we can go to the next lesson that you're going to talk about, and I want to talk about those special people in your life for a minute that really need your clients or your prospects' attention for a minute. Because these are the people that if you bring them up or when you draw the family tree, they're going to appear in the family tree. And people are going to, the reason I put those hands on there with that heart is because a lot of times they decide that they love people and that they want to be sure that what their wishes are put down on paper. So on day 15, then, if you're that far in the lessons, if we talk about those special people in your life, it's going to be probably your spouse, in most cases, your children, your grandchildren, your parents, not you parents, but they could be you parents too. Hey, you parents, you ought to have a estate plan. Your co-trustor, your choice of trustees, your successor trustees, your beneficiaries, your contingent beneficiaries, and your significant others. These are all people that'll show up on your estate plan or on your family tree. And they'll all show up on the other person's family tree too. So if you're into making some part-time money or some full-time money, I'll be honest with you, if you do what we say, you can work part-time and have full-time money. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. So the more you do it, the higher your income goes. But anyway, on day 16 in our family tree asset positioning advanced training spoon fed, we'll teach you how to find solutions. And essentially, this is what people buy. They buy, people don't buy estate plans, they buy solutions to problems. And the reason they buy it is because the trust simplifies the distribution process when properly funded, and that avoids the probate court. And you do not have to be an attorney to say that to anybody. So I want to refer you back to the earlier conversation we just had. And then, the next day, whenever you get there, why not protect those you love with joint trust for children, spendthrift protections? Some of the special considerations in the attorney written family estate docs are joint trust for children, spendthrift protections. The joint trust for children section allows you to decide when money is to be distributed and for what reason to minor heirs. And just this morning, we did an estate plan, and the issue was when do the children get the money? And they decided children will get the money at age 25. Okay, other people say no, give them the money at age 18. I've got one client that doesn't want the children to have any money till they're 40. It's that flexible. But there's also spendthrift protections built into what we do. So if a trustee runs into somebody that can't handle money very well, they can enact the spendthrift protection and protect that person and give them the use of the money without having control of the money. And if you want to understand how to do that, just send me an email or send Greg or Jay an email and ask the question, and we'll get it answered for you. So, but also on day 17, there are 2 videos that you want to be sure that you watch that explain the joint trust for children and explains the spendthrift protections. And please watch the videos. A lot of times I'll be working, trying to get everything done, and somebody will call me and they'll go, what do they mean by joint trust for children? And I'll go, oh my gosh, somebody didn't watch their video. So if you'll just pay attention to these videos in these early stages, you'll come across very knowledgeable. And some of you are already, I can tell by the questions I'm receiving, you're getting better every day by taking these day-to-day lessons. I can tell it. I could just tell by the questions that you're asking. So good job. So then the next day, catering to the needs and desires of your clients. The more you perform the family tree asset positioning go-to first interview, which is the topic next week. I mean, next week you ought to be really excited because I'm going to be teaching you what to say, how to say it, and when to say it. But the more you do it, the more you run into prospects or suspects with aging parents. You'll also find aging parents very willing to establish estate plans of their own. So usually if I go out and write one plan, I usually don't write just one. I usually write 2, sometimes 3 in a short period of time because I hit a little nest of people that all have the same goals. And I guess maybe I ought to do a class on nest identification, but that might not be a bad idea. But anyway, let's go on over to day 19 a minute. So my question for you, and I hope you are asking the question for yourself, is why use the family tree asset positioning go-to first interview? Why would you do that? Well, first of all, I'd look at you and go, well, you ought to use it because it works. It works almost every time. But the most important part of the estate planning process is for the presenter, that's you, to be able to lead the potential buyer through the decision-making process of choosing the proper people to fill the roles in their estate plan. If you can do that, you're going to become a master of this process. And each time you're going to get somewhere between $500 or $1,200 more. Like I said, I average $5,000 to $20,000 on the back end sale. The front end sale, if I do $1,200 and average $500, the least I'm going to make is going to be $6,200, but I might make $22,000, $23,000 on a case. And the clients will thank you for doing that. So let me show you how to hunt. If you want to earn between $500 and $1,200 per successful interview, I can teach you how to do that. I want to teach you how to do that. So anyway, some of you part-timers, we've talked to so many people that want to get into this business, and sometimes they're working in warehouses, sometimes they're working in schools, sometimes they're just a couple of pizza delivery people. And they go, wait a minute, I can make a whole lot more money talking to people about their estate plans than I can by running these pizzas up and down the road. You are being taught how to approach people right this minute. Who you think would benefit from a conversation with you about their estate plan? Not the one they will eventually buy from you, but the one they have right now. That's the starting point. And that's, that's where people are going to go, wow, this person's pretty good. This person's understands what needs to happen. The starting point is not to show your product. The starting point is to talk to people about the plan they already have. Because everybody has one. So the question is, how do you unlock the success in this program? Well, you do it by emulating what we do without innovating. Right, not right now. You can innovate later, but right now, just emulate. And in 30 days, and here we are, all the way up to day 20 almost. If you begin implementing at your own pace, and we're not going to push you, we're not going to pull you. You design your experience, and we will mentor your growth. It's that easy. And we don't want to put pressure on you. That if you go slow, then go slow. Momentum builds at whatever speed you want to go on. So I want to talk to you a little bit about market impact. The heads of families all over the USA want someone to guide them through this process. Listen to that. This is important. This is true. The heads of families all over the United States of America want someone to guide them through this process. Well, I'll be honest with you, not many people know how to guide people through this process. And the ones who want to be guided through the process, they just don't know where to turn. They don't know who to talk to. And I say they need to talk to you. So anyway, I just want you to be aware, what is the first step? And I call it the cycle of success. We've just real quickly gone through chapters 11 through 20 on what you're going to learn, what you need to learn. And we apply that to the cycle of success. That requires you to make the commitment to identify people who you think would benefit from a conversation with you about their current estate plan. I've said it so many times that people walk up at one of my licensees, he said it to me today with a big grin on his face because he's learned it so much. He's been told it so many times. I said, where are you going? He said, well, I'm going to go talk to somebody that might benefit from a conversation with me about their current estate plan. And I went, that person's going to make some money. And if some people, what they do all day long, they take a hammer and beat on a nail all day, or they load pizzas up in the car and drive around, or they work in a restaurant while their kids are at school. If you don't want to do those kind of things, make the commitment to learn how to identify people who you think would benefit from a conversation with you about their current estate plan. Put $500 in your pocket every day. Unless you want to put $1,200 in your pocket every day doing the exact same thing. It's your choice. So some of you might wonder how the difference between the 500 and 1,200. I'm going to go over that here with you in a minute. So we have a sales model. We will teach you how to identify people who would benefit from a conversation with you about their current estate plan. Look at the frame before that. If you will make a commitment to identify people who you think would benefit from a conversation with you about their current estate plan, then we will agree to teach you how to identify people who would benefit from a conversation with you about their current estate plans. That makes sense. Well, I call that a suspect. So, and I'm going to show you the slide bar because I showed it to you last week. I'm going to show it to you again. I'm going to show you a list of potential suspects. These are what we call avatars. And none of these people have a name. They're not an avatar after you put a name on them, but you could probably put a name on some of these people right now. So here they are. Who would you want to approach? Well, it could be a single adult. And that single adult could be 18 years old. They could be 30 years old, 40 years old, 50 years old. They could be 75 years old. They could still be, they're still single adults. And if you know a single adult, you might want to ask them, hey, you might benefit from a conversation with me about your current estate plan, because if you do, you might learn something you were not aware of. Or I think the proper English is in which you were not aware. But so single adults, newlyweds, they really do need to talk to you, because their dad just gave the bride away. The mom just lost her son to another woman. And now those people have agreed to take care of each other for the rest of their lives till death do they part. And most single adults don't have, most newlyweds don't have an estate plan. How about new parents? Who's going to take care of that baby if the new parents don't make it home? And I think I've told somebody a story before about my buddy, one of my childhood buddies who became a doctor at the University of Tennessee and was going on vacation. And his wife picked him up at work, and he got in the front seat of the car, and he had 3 kids in the back seat, and he pulled out of the parking lot and got smashed by a tractor trailer truck. But anyway, today in my office was a divorced parent who wants to get remarried, but doesn't want her fiance to be on any of her trust documents until they actually walk down the aisle together. And she has a 24-year-old son and a 22-year-old son. And she wants them to be the beneficiaries of all the assets that her mother just left her, because her mother just died. And that's maybe $1 million worth of apartment buildings. So how about an extended head of household? Now, I don't know if you know what that even means or not, but you've been watching TV shows with extended heads of household for a long, long time. The Real McCoys, Beverly Hillbillies, the Rifleman. Some of y'all probably not old enough to know any of those TV shows. But anyway, a single head of household is any adult who's responsible for maybe 1 or 2 generations involved. And then that takes me to, how about single parents? How many single parents do you know? Now, they may be single on purpose. They may have said, hey, I never wanted a spouse. I just want this child. Some of them may say, I had this baby and my husband ran away, or I had this baby and I ran away. You don't know, but they still need the proper paperwork. How about the new wealthy? I was listening to Dan Bongino the other day. I don't know if y'all know who he is, but he was talking about how he was a new wealthy person, which meant that his wealth was generated by his income and not his assets, because when he was born poor, and now he's wealthy, but it's not because he inherited assets, it's because he has a real nice income. Well, how about people with new careers, or pre-retirees, or the most profitable of all suspects in the estate planning world, because these are the people who never had around to it or got around to it? That's retirees, or people that have just been diagnosed with a new health problem. Now, you should be making a list if you're going to be a new licensee with us, and you can't look at this and make a list of people and attach names to these people. And each time you attach a name to these are people who would benefit from a conversation with you about their current estate plan, not the one you want to sell them, but the one they have. Now, you probably know some people with disabled children, poor money handlers, people with debt burden, same-sex couples, and May-November relationships. And those happen all the time. I've got a friend that I asked her what was going on in her world right now, and she said, well, to be honest with you, I'm looking for a sugar daddy. Okay. And she wanted that man to be about 20 years older than her. Okay. So when that happens, sometimes the sugar daddy might want to be sure there's a proper estate plan, especially sugar daddy's children. And I'm not trying to be negative about it, but there are lots of adults that maybe sugar daddy, sugar mama, that have girlfriends that may be younger than their current children, and their current children feel threatened. So, you know, if we're going to put a real value on what I'm trying to teach you, it'll be that I will teach you how to approach any suspect, what to say that guarantees they will want to talk to you on a favorable basis. And as soon as they agree to do that, they're no longer a suspect, they become a prospect. So you're being trained to always use the same approach. Why would you change the approach? There's no reason to ever change the approach if you know that the same approach will open up the conversation for a lifetime relationship. And that approach, most of you probably say it now to yourselves, but it doesn't do you any good to say it to yourself. You need to say it to other people. I think you would benefit from a conversation with me about your current estate plan. So easy to say or do. So people who have this conversation with you will learn something in which they were not aware. I did proper grammar there that time, luckily. This establishes your value as an advisor. I think I said that sentence to maybe 50 or 60 people this week. Some of them I did in a workshop, some of them I did individually. That one's called one-to-one. The other's one called one-to-many. I'll teach you how to do one-to-many if you want to. But anyway, if you do this, people will start giving you testimonials. You will become the topic of family conversations for years to come because you will have helped your prospect client answer questions to which they have always wanted answers but did not know how or who to talk to about it. Well, the easiest way to do that is buy them a cup of coffee. So, or buy them dinner. Buy them dinner, wait until they get the fork almost up to their mouth. And as soon as they put the food in their mouth that you just bought, you can say anything you want to. You may as well say, hey, I think you might benefit from a conversation about your estate plan. Okay, so if you want to have success, and if you look at most of the successful businesses in the universe, they usually have one approach. McDonald's biggest upgrade is, hey, you want fries with that, or do you want to be supersized? It's one approach, one go-to first interview, one funding process, then seek advocation from those who are happy, and most will be happy, then repeat the process. That's what I call the cycle of success. Again, we've talked about this, but see these boxes running down this aisle right here. They all look like they're the same. They're all labeled a little differently if you look at them real good, but they're all going somewhere. A strategic initiative in marketing is knowing that being distinctive, which you will be distinctive if you use that approach, doing things in a different way, which not many people have been approached the way I'm telling you to approach them, implementing the process. And if you want to build momentum, use systematic massive action, use force multipliers, and that builds momentum. And it doesn't do me any good to teach you systematic massive action until I get you to do what I'm asking you to do at least one time. And if it doesn't work one time, do it again, because I know it works. I know if you do it 10 times, you'll get 7 appointments and 3 sales. So, if you say, hey, this week, I just need to approach 10 people on my list, I'm going to make at least a minimum of $1,500, and I'm going to try to get it done on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, because I don't want to work on Friday afternoon, and I can't work on Monday morning. I've had such a good time every weekend. It's easy to do, simple to do. So, you know, what is the company impact? What does my company, Asset Positioning Services, what is the impact in the country right now? Well, I have 149 licensees. I have several entry-level people that are taking our training courses. And if every one of them just approached 10 people a week, we would be somewhere between 1,500 and 1,800 approaches every week. We're not there. We're getting there. But the Family Tree Asset Positioning representative will find themselves in what I call the financial services sweet spot. If you do what I ask you, you will be in that sweet spot where your suspect or prospect will say, "I have never been approached like that before," and they warned me that I would learn things I was not aware of, and that's exactly what happened. You ought to talk to this person. So the sweet spot position where if a client has a relationship change, an asset change, a health change, they will contact you first because you're the one that helped them set up the estate plan. And they're going to want to know what your opinion is on the changes because of this relationship change or this asset change or this health change. Does that make sense? So, so what's in store for next week? I just want to, this is what I've been trying to show you what to learn this week so that you can set yourself up for next week. And if you're not caught up, get caught up because next week's going to be a rip roar. I'm going to show you what to do in the actual presentation. So what's in store next week? Well, we're going to talk about what I call the agenda. We're going to talk about the data form. We're going to talk about the sales presentation, which is in the script, in the book. I think it's lesson 23. You might want to check that out. And then the power phrases, I think it's lesson 24. But if you learn those power phrases, and one, power phrase, you know what the first power phrase is? Hey, I think you'd benefit from a conversation with me about your current estate plan. But another power phrase might be, I'm a firm believer that I'm a better advisor if I understand your family dynamics. And so because of that, would you mind if I drew your family tree? Another power phrase might be, I'm a firm believer that your current health situation is the primary factor in your investment decisions. Would you agree? So I'll teach you these power phrases that people will say yes to you over and over and over. And I call those micro commitments. And if you understand the micro commitments, you're never going to be worried about money again. So why do business with my company? Well, I've got 40 years experience as the president of the company. We've been very, very successful every year at what we do. We are distinctive in what we do and how we do it. And we have our own kind of impact on the market. If you do what we say, we will lead you to a pretty high income. So we use a sales model, and I've been going over it with you over and over and over already today. It's the same sales model, the same thing every time. You don't have to learn something new all the time. You just have to learn how to do it right every time. So you control your growth in my company. I don't try to control you. I will teach you how to grow. I'll coach you, I'll train you, and I'll let you take that next step up anytime you want to. If you look at me and say, I want to be a head of a sales team, I'm going to say, okay, but I will not teach you how to be the head of a sales team until I teach you how to make a sale. And if you say, okay, I think that's right, teach me to make a sale so I can teach others how to make a sale. So if you concentrate on our training, which is what I'm trying to get you to do here on Friday afternoons at 2:00 every Friday, and if you follow our coaching, which I try to do every Tuesday at 3 p.m., and if you will take the step up when you are ready, I'm not going to control when you're ready. You're going to walk up to me or one of my staff, and you're going to go, I'm ready. Okay. Then what we will teach you the go-to first interview. We will teach you to implement the proper go-to first interview. If you know the interview and don't implement, it doesn't do you any good. So learn your first interview next week and then implement it. Use the cycle of success. You should already be developing a list of suspects and prospects, and I just described them all to you. In most cases, this interview will lead you to a front-end sale. As an entry-level representative, you make $500 per sale. You will be mentored by trained APS LLC advisors. We call these mentors. On your first sale, and if your confidence is right, your mentor will recommend that you be allowed to have your own software license, because we call them bronze, copper, silver, or gold tier production. If you're a brand new entry level person right now, you're probably not qualified for our gold tier, but at the same time, you may already be qualified. You may already be a super salesperson with the sales crew, and you may just need a product to sell. And if you convince me that that's who you are, I'll put you in the gold training program. What we're learning today is the entry training program, which is about 4 levels below gold. But you can get there in just a couple of weeks if you're the right person and the right motivation. We had a new licensee that switched over from entry level to copper last Tuesday and turned in their second case today. I will tell you, I know the system is working because we're 150% above sales over the last month. 150% above the sales. The upgrade to bronze is a business decision you make. If you say, hey, I don't want that $500 commission anymore, I want $1,200 for doing the exact same thing that you're paying me $500 for, then I'm going to say, okay, this is what you need to do. You need to accept a little more responsibility and make a little more sacrifice, and I will approve you making $1,200 instead of $500. But anyway, there's a cost. If you say I want to move up from entry level to bronze, there is a cost. It costs you $149.90 for the first month, and then $49.95 per month after that. But you get the fast track training and access to my website and all my videos, and you get access to me. And I'll even give you that $99.95 back if you make your first sale in 60 days. And remember, a lot of my entry-level students are making their first sale in 3 or 4 days. I got a call the other day from one of our Go licensees and says, hey, Eddie wants his money back. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, Eddie paid you $99.95, and he made his first sale. And I said, well, he hadn't had time to read the book yet, but he had already made a sale, so we gave him his money back. So the reason you might want to go from entry to bronze is you get the privacy of your own website. When we provide your website, we'll train you how to use it. The ability to print and deliver your own estate plans. If you're the $500 level, you don't have the ability to print and deliver your estate plan. But if you say, I want that responsibility, then if you prove it to me through your mentor, I will say, okay, let them go. Let them do it. So what's a typical week in our training, our lives? And I'll be honest with you, my weeks go by so fast. I'm always glad to see Saturday and Sunday so I can rest. It's because my weeks just fly by. So if you attend the appropriate weekly training, like right now, and you do the workshop webinar for your level of production, and you develop and work your suspect list and schedule your first interviews, and then talk with your mentor weekly and use the first go-to interview, what was that I said? The role of the first interview presenter. What is your role? What is it we need you to do? Well, we need you to establish the first step in the long-term relationship. We need you to set up the back-end sale. When you learn to set up the back-end sale, you probably be ready to do the back-end sale. And remember, the back-end sale averages between $5,000 and $20,000 commissions each time. Let us teach you how to do that. Give us enough time. And when I talk about time, It's toward the end of February right now. I can have you making those $5,000 and $20,000 commissions by the end of April if you were a good enough student and wanted it bad enough. But you got to be a good student and you got to want it. So, we have career opportunities in our company. They're spread out all across the United States. You just need to be aware that growth doesn't start or stop with our entry-level core sales role. Our organization is expanding every day, and it creates more opportunities for top performers and top performance. But you don't get it just by sitting there and learning stuff. Okay, so you have to make a little bit of sacrifice, maybe a couple hours away from the house, maybe a little bit of time learning a process instead of shooting a basketball. I don't know. You have to unlock success at Asset Positioning Services by learning and emulating what our successful people do. So again, we've talked about level 1. That's where most of you are right now. Okay. The entry-level representative will learn how to make the front end sale. It doesn't matter to me if you're the best insurance salesman in the world. If you don't learn our process and make the front end sale, our process does not work. You have to learn to make the front end sale. The back end sale will be handled by your mentor until you are ready to mentor yourself. The commission per sale, if you're being mentored, is $500 because the mentor has to take over from there. Level 2 is upgrade to bronze, make your own website, be a licensee, own client privacy. All of a sudden, you go from $500 to $1,200 for doing the exact same thing. Your mentor will help you get this done. Like I said, the cost is $149.90 a month. We've already talked about that. But if you wanted to, you can choose to stay on the entry level as long as you wish. If you're in the PTA and you want to work the parents in the school and stay on the entry level, that's okay. You won't have to have the software. You won't have to manage anything. You just go in and approach people that might benefit from a conversation with. Or you can upgrade to bronze, copper, silver, or gold. I'll have myself or anybody talk to you about it. So what's the next step? Talk to your mentor. Your mentor will be in touch on Monday to ask you where you are. Jay and Greg will be your mentors. They will work together to get you where you want to be. Establish your first 10 suspects of people you think would benefit from a conversation with you about their current estate plan. Those suspects will learn something they were not aware of. They will act on their new awareness. I'm going to go back and say that again. Your suspects will learn something they were not aware of, and they will act on their new awareness. We saw that happen Thursday. We saw people that on a workshop that became aware of these new things, and the first thing they did was that they said, "Yes, I want an appointment." And all we did was tell them what we're telling you right now. They will act on their new awareness, and they will do this by making a front-end purchase, and I call this the front-end sale. So, send your questions direct to your mentor. That can be Jay, or that can be Greg, or you can send it to me at randallbaxter@randallbaxter.com. I will get the appropriate staff person to answer your questions. We will teach you to build momentum slowly, and it's hard to stop once it's rolling. So let us teach you how to build your momentum. It's not that hard to learn. It's harder to implement, but it's not hard to implement if you get the proper encouragement, the proper coaching and training. So anyway, I'm going to close this the same way I close all of my lessons that I teach. Talk to you about knowledge. If you work in my company, you'll gain a lot of knowledge over the next 30 days. I guarantee that. My knowledge is based on canceled checks. I've about made every mistake you could ever make in this industry. And I don't care to teach people how to not make them. But knowledge is useless. storage of data if not used appropriately? What good does it do for you to have sat through this meeting for the past 50 minutes and you don't do anything with it? If that's true, you just wasted the hour. I don't know why you would do that, but some people do. My keyword for 2024, if I look at people and they say, I want to do what you do and I want to have the income that you have, or I want to have half the income that you have, or if you want to, I want to have $10,000 a month or $5,000 a month extra. Well, I'm going to look at you and go, well, that's great. Why don't you implement what we teach? And if you do that, we'll make your income goals come true. So that's all I got to say about that. If there's any questions, Lisa, in the chat room, I don't know if there are any, but I'll sure take a couple of questions if anybody wants to give us one.
No questions yet.
Okay. We've got a good crowd out there. So and I appreciate all of you attending. I just want you to know it doesn't do you any good or me any good for you to take the information and then not implement what you learned. So it's Friday afternoon in East Tennessee. My car's in the shop. I'm going to go get it. And then I'm going to go home because it's been a hard week and a busy week and a good week. All my weeks are good because we do what we teach. All I can tell you is if I wasn't doing it, I wouldn't be teaching it. And if it wasn't working well, I wouldn't tell you to go do it. So take that list I showed you, those people that you can identify as an avatar, put a name to it and approach them, and you'll see what I mean. You'll see that they will buy from you. Are there any questions out there? Greg, did you have a question?
And now there's a question,
okay.
Randall.
Okay.
Jim says his website seems to be deactivated.
I don't know who Jim is.
Jim Henderson.
Okay. Jim, contact Greg, Greg Davis at randallbaxter.com and tell him the problem. And if your website is deactivated, it may be because either non-payment of the monthly expense, or if you really can't get it done, that's more than likely that's the problem. There may be a payment issue there, but if your website's not activated, it's usually for that reason. So contact Greg and Greg and I'll get it fixed for you. Anything else?
Another question. Ed asked, is it good to approach folks on the avatar list without regard to probate net worth?
Is it good to approach people without regard to probate net worth?
Probable net worth.
Oh, probable net worth. Okay, probable net worth. Well,
probable.
I would say that's okay. If you think that they would benefit from a conversation with you about their estate plan, don't be concerned about their net worth. Be concerned about helping them learn what they need to learn. Then your net worth will go up if you go in with the intent of helping those people learn what they might not be aware of. So don't, I approach people sometimes that when I'm finished approaching them, I go, well, gosh, they don't own anything. They don't, but at the same time, they benefited from the conversation. That's my mission. The more I do it, the more I learn to talk to people, the more I learn that I don't have those many conversations with people who don't have any assets. Hope that answers your question. Just do it. But, and even if you find out they don't have any assets, help them wherever you can. What's next? Any other questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Cynthia. How are you doing?
How y'all doing? Okay.
We're good.
On the round to it, what information of mine should I add on it?
Okay. Well, let me, because I had that. I use a generic round to it because so many of you licensees want one, and so I took my round to it, And on the back of it, I put, do you have a will, a trust, or the government plan? If you're going to order these, and I get them from pens.com, PENS.com, you can put any message on the back you want to.
But no, I want that one. I want that message because I did some before, and it's got
Okay.
my information on it, but it didn't have that statement, which I would rather do that statement. And
Well, you can say, do you have a will, a trust, or the government plan? And then if you're going to order them yourself, put your phone number under there.
Okay, my phone number. Okay, that's what I needed
Yeah.
to know. But okay.
I think I gave out 50 of them yesterday.
Okay.
And you know what? Here's what you do. Let me tell you, those of you who are new and don't understand the round to it, it's an old Zig Ziglar trick. Yesterday I kept telling people, you don't have an estate plan because you've never gotten around to it, or you haven't had time or taken the time to get around to it. Then I look at them and I go, here, I've got the solution to you. And then I hand them a wooden coin that's got a Tuit, T-U-I-T written on the front of it, and it's round. And I go, now you have a round Tuit. Why don't you get this done? And they snicker. And I think that might have made us maybe $20 or $30 or $40,000 yesterday. We'll see.
Okay.
So when people say don't take a wooden nickel, I say give them out all day long. Put the message on it, and those of you who want to learn about around to it, send us an email and we'll send you. You can buy them from me by the 100, or you go to pens.com and buy them by the 1,000. I buy them by the thousands, and I'm about ready to order some more. I think I've given away 2,000 since January 1. And here's what I know: you get 2,000 smiles when you hand somebody around to it after talking to them about something they're procrastinating on. Does that answer your question, Cynthia?
Yes. So I'll place my
Cynthia?
order with you today.
Okay, well, here's
Okay.
something you might be aware of. Greg and Jay and I did workshops yesterday.
Oh, I want to know about that. Yes.
Yeah, and even you folks that are on the entry level, if you want to do a workshop, let me know. But we had
That's what I want.
we had 16 or 20, and I'm going to do the class on it Tuesday at 3:00. That's going to be the class. So just schedule that hour on Tuesday. And I'm going to go over what happened and what our experience was on that. And it was very, very good. I think that one class may generate a minimum $25,000 in gross revenue, but it could generate 100 or 150. And I don't have the exact numbers yet because all we did was the class Thursday, and we're going to do another one of those classes that's coming Thursday. But I think the first day we had 16, 18 people show up, and about 5 or 6 or 3 or 4 buying units asked for appointments. And that afternoon, we had fewer people show up and more people schedule appointments. So I think we wound up with like 10 guaranteed appointments. And remember, I always talk about 10, 7, 3. Okay. So I know that if 10 people ask for an appointment, I know 7 of them are going to buy, because my sales presentation I'm trying to teach you is that good, that effective. And then if those 7 people buy an estate plan, 3 of them are going to do a back end sale, which is going to average between $5,000 and $20,000. There's a cost to it. We can talk about that next week. So you entry people who want to learn about that, let us know, and we will invite you to that class Tuesday at 3:00. Anything else out there?
Liz had a question. Is this something that can be done via Zoom? For example, if I have contacts in another state, how would we approach them?
Okay. Yes, you would approach them by sending them an email and say, hey, I'd like to schedule a Zoom appointment with you because I think you might benefit from a conversation with me about your current estate plan. And then if you do, you will probably learn something you were not aware of. It's the exact same thing. I guess maybe you go to Quebec and Canada and get you a fiddle and stand on the corner and play the fiddle to that tune and sing that song to people, and they'll listen to you, and they probably would benefit. It doesn't matter how you deliver it. It's not how, it's what. What is the message? That's all you have to worry about. Anybody else out there?
Kay Parker says he wants to learn about the wooden nickels and he would like to place an order.
Okay. I think he's been talking to Greg Davis. Send an email to Greg Davis at randallbaxter.com and we'll get you the link to order some round tuits. I think they're $3,500. That counts $10 shipping. They're $25 for 100 and $10 for shipping. And I'll be more than happy to ship you some. There may be a 10-day delay because I'm about to run out. And I was thinking about ordering some today or tomorrow morning, but I think I got maybe another 150 laying around somewhere. So get your order in and I'll get them out to you. Anything else? And by the way, Kendall, I'm glad you're talking to Greg. How about something else out there?
Then someone who's on as Success, I'm not sure what your name is, says, can we watch the workshop?
Can we watch the workshop?
I think they were actually referring to Tuesday when you talk about it.
Oh, yeah. If you're talking about Tuesday when I come in and talk about the workshop, have not filmed it yet. It was fun to do, Greg. It was fun to do, wasn't it? You can come Tuesday at 3:00 Eastern Standard Time. If you're one of the entry-level people, tell Greg to tell Lisa to get you an invite. We'll
I think it's Felicia who's on at Success, and she's talking about the workshop at Teleco Village.
Oh, right. So I didn't film it. I just went and did it. But you know what? It was the exact same script as what I do on a one-on-one basis. Exactly the same script. I was just, instead of one-on-one, Felicia, I was doing one-to-many. And that's just a little more advanced stage of the sales presentation. If you don't get stage fright and are not afraid to get out and talk to a lot of people, the same presentation works when you're talking to 20 people as it does when you're talking to one. You just get more appointments. And what you're actually doing, if you're inviting people to a workshop, you skip the suspect stage and go straight into the prospect stage because they've already agreed to talk to you on a favorable basis when they show up. But if you go through the suspect stage, it's because you don't want to spend any money. And there's nothing wrong with that. And if you want a low-cost marketing program, you have to go through the suspect stage before you get to the prospect stage. If you got maybe $4,000, $3,500, $4,000 that you can spend on marketing, you can skip the suspect stage and have a month's worth of appointments in maybe a 4 hours worth of presentations. That $3,500 bought 4 1-hour presentations in a public library. You didn't have to buy dinner or anything. And their presentation room, I think, was full both times. I think we were almost full both times. So people want to hear the story. Hope that answers your question, Felicia. You're going to be really good at this very, very soon. Any other questions?
There is one question. Atari says, yes, please send invite. So Atari, is that the invite to the Tuesday call?
Invite her. She's welcome to come. We talked to her this week, I think, Greg. I think we did. She was in the Tuesday morning class. Atari, I remember who you are, so I hope you'll come join us.
Okay, I'll make sure you get the invite to the Tuesday class, Atari.
Okay, and Lisa, it's okay to go ahead and invite all of our entry level people to that class if they want to come.
Okay,
You know,
I will do.
If you think you're ready, we want you to be there. Okay, I'm getting real close to going to pick up my car at the shop, going home. Any more questions?
No, just a yes from Atari. Thank you. And Felicia said, brilliant, thanks. Just a whole lot of thank yous.
Well,
this is a great session.
You know what? Take all those thank yous and multiply it times 100 and send it back to them, because I'm just as thankful that they are here as they are for the information they got, and they need to know that. I do this because I enjoy doing it, and I just want to be able to share the information we have. If you read the book, you'll find about the old soldier, and you're talking to him. When it comes to financial services, I will teach you what I've done and what I do and how I do it. And that's why I'm still here. All right. Anything else? I'm about to go.
That's it. Tari says, have a great weekend.
Okay. Well, you too, Tari. And we had a good crowd today, and everybody, I appreciate it. And I'm signing off. Take care.